Hello, good day. My name is Nohemi Lopez, and today I will talk about the term of grammar. When we are thinking about grammar, we can see that immediately some words comes to our mind. For example, that grammar is about rules, structures, accuracy. Uh, Also, we can think about that is the use of the language completely fluently and accurately, but we can observe that also, as the picture in the slide mentioned, grammar is a systematic study and description of a language. And what about this study? It is about the different levels, such a phonetic and phonological way, morphological, syntactic, lexical, and semantic. So we can understand by this way, with this description, that studying grammar is important because it allows us to improve the use of the language in aspects such as spelling and phonetics, the structure of the words, and it allows us to organize and combine words in sentences correctly. Well, now we are going to check about the linguistic. Linguistic makes a distinctions between two types of grammar, and these types are formal grammar and functional grammar. Let's see the next slide. We can understand that the formal grammar, it is related with the structure of the language, and the functional grammar is focused on the text and their context, meaning, and the meaning. And we are going to talk more about meanings, about the contributions of Michael Halliday in the next slides. But first of all, it's important to mention what are the function of the language. What is the function? Well, the function is the purpose or the way that we are using the language. And in this case, we identify a special term that we call metafunction. But what is? Well, metafunction. We are talking about the entire architecture of a language is arranged along functional lines, and in this moment is when the grammar emerges in its particular forms, and all these help us to understand the terms of the function of the language, how it evolved to serve. Now we are going to understand more about what is the language, the grammar, and Michael Halliday helped us to understand this because he is the founder of the systematic functional linguistic, and he divided the way that we use the language into three different metafunctions, and we are going to see this. Well, first of all, we can see that metafunctions refers to the way we organize, understand, and express our perceptions of the world and of our own consciousness. It's the way that we express everything, our ideas. And these three parts that it is divided, first of all is the ideational, that it implies the language as a reflection. First is the experiential, and it refers about the content and the or idea expressed, and by the logical way is the relationship between the ideas. So now we have the interpersonal. It implies the language as an action. How? Well, it refers to the use of the language to communicate our ideas, our emotions, ourselves with other people. And it refers with the relationship with the relationship between a speaker and the hearer. Now, the other is the textual. The textual is the use of the language to the text itself. The use of the language to relate what is said or written to real world. I'm sorry, the phone is ringing, but we are going to continue. No? Now, we are going to understand better when we are learning about grammar and we understand the way that the language is used. Now, as a teacher, in our teaching practice, we need to understand grammar in the teaching of the language. So, we know that learning grammar is essential to master the language. And as teachers, it is very important to make sure that students learn it and are able to recognize the structure of the language at different times, the sounds, the vocabulary, and by this way they can manipulate the words and the structures, and by this way they can show the meanings that helps them to express themselves, and by this way they can be understood by expressing the language by verbally and written way. Now we can see that at the moment that we are teaching, we need to include the grammar when we are teaching to young learners and elders too. We must include the grammar by natural way and implicity to our students in our classroom through processes of recognition and imitation. And by the other way, comprehension skills and expression skills work together. Yes, we can understand that the grammar must be adapted to the age of the learners. Uh, well, we have here some techniques that we can use. For example, we need to drive the students to be exposed to the language and the grammar with activities that promote the memory, the reflections, activities that prepare them for the use of the language or assimilate the structure of the language. And the other is to drive them to the or exposure to them, authentic exposure, authentic output. Use another techniques, for example, clarification, explanation, activities to promote noticing, clarification. Well, and in my case, for example, I usually to apply some strategies like TPR, that it means a restricted exposure, because they follow the model that I am showing them, and they are doing the repetition of the language. The other is the TBL, task-based learning. Yes, they have authentic exposure to the language, and with the activities that promote noticing, I am asking for a brainstorming or something like, what is the weather like for today? And then they answer everything that they are learning about the weather, no? And if they don't know, we are guiding them to discover the language. For example, showing some pictures like flashcards, then reinforcing the concepts, or driving them to discover the concept of that word. So that is very important, that when we are teaching grammar and teaching the language, some to use some resources are very useful. Flashcards, word cards, and diagrams, poster, charts, music. In my case, for example, when I am working with elementary school with kids from first grade to sixth grade, I don't usually to teach grammar by literal way, telling this is the noun, verb, and complement. No, because the smaller kids, they don't know the language, so I need to show them first the vocabulary by functional way. Yes, and if I am talking about how to teach grammar to the elders that they are in fifth grade, sixth grade, i had I had noticed that they don't have the level for understand the grammar. So I use the same way to teaching them by functional way, showing the language, showing chunks, uh, with showing some expressions that they can follow, that they can remember and follow the structure and understand the meaning. Yeah. So the other way that I use for teaching them grammar, and they don't know that they are learning grammar. They are enjoying the grammar, playing grammar by games, memory games, some sentences that they are playing, how to organize the words in the correctly way. So as we can see in the slide, I have a special note here. The grammar, it will always be introduced by playful way, ludic way, playing all the time with games or visual resources. An example of this can be songs, cartoons, tongue twister, riddles, games of ordering words or letters, singular and plural, internet page of mobile applications. I usually the application now when we are in virtual, well, working by virtual way, we can see that the kids can use the applications about vocabulary, like showing the pictures, complementing, matching, relationship that are very useful. And well, I love the flashcard for teaching language and the grammar structure. So that's all. Thank you so much, and see you soon.